This is Cape Coral Talk Radio. And now, broadcasting live from Hooked Island Grill in the heart of downtown Cape Coral, here are the hosts of Cape Coral Talk Radio, Kim and Ed Ryan.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to Hooked Island Grill. We appreciate you. Is it too low? I can turn it up. We're always trying to work the sound here. We good now? And everybody here okay that wants to hear? If you don't want to hear, I apologize. Every Friday at 5 o'clock, we do a kind of like a little political talk show here with all the important people. And we have a super duper important person that we're going to talk to in a little bit. And we appreciate all you guys coming out to Hooked Island Grill. We know you got plenty of places to go and things to do, and we appreciate you all coming out. By the way, before we get rolling here, we are selling raffle tickets. Janet right here is helping us out. They're $10 each. 100% of the money is being donated to the Cape Coral Youth Council for their fundraising effort to go to Washington, D.C. And last time we raffled off a weekend getaway to the Pink Shell Resort on Fort Myers Beach. And now we have 2 round-trip tickets on the Key West Express, which, if you didn't know, takes you to Key West and back. So if you want to purchase a raffle ticket, just come on over. They're $10 each till the end of the day today, and then they're $20 each after that. So are you ready to start the show here? And we want to give everyone an update that we are still on baby watch, and
Yes.
we are getting dangerously close to the actual due date, which is...
I know. He was originally due on your birthday, which is a week from today, but I think he's going to come early.
Yeah, she is so ready to have a baby. So is the due date's October?
I am so ready to be a grandma. I'm going to pack my bag tonight, my overnight bag. No Nana.
I watched
No.
I watched over 100 videos on how to spoil a new grandson just so that it's ready to roll when that baby comes out. So
it's just DISNEY.
Yes. And before Joe comes on, actually, Joe, come on down and I'll let everybody. This is Councilmember Joe Kilraine, everybody. Yes, and I did want to run down some of the other guests that we have coming up over the next few weeks. I think everybody knows what's going on next week. And after our first guest, our second guest will be from the Oktoberfest. There's a big Oktoberfest coming up at the end of October, so those folks are coming on in the second half of the show. Let's see. On the 17th, we have Ray and Annette are coming on. They are the District 6 candidates so far. We're going to have a little candidate forum with those 2 folks. Next year is a huge election year here in Cape Coral. 4 seats are up on the out of the 8 seats next year. And on the 24th, Rich Leone is coming on. He is running for mayor, along with conservative Ant. He's our second guest. I don't know if you guys know, he owns the Patriot Gear Shop. That's they're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony on October the 10th or 11th. So he's coming on to talk about, if you haven't seen any of his videos and you're conservative, obviously, they're very amusing. So I know you've been watching conservative Ant for a long time, so you should check.
I mean, funny is funny.
Funny, yeah. No matter what, funny is funny. Former Councilman Tom Heyman, did I say that right? Heyman? Did I say that right, Joe?
Hang on.
Go ahead.
Am I live?
Yes.
Everybody hear me?
Yes. He's Hayden. Sorry, Hayden's coming on the 31st. We'll tell you about the rest later on in the show. Joe, how are you, Joe?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Good.
We love coming out here to Hooked Island Grill. It's a wonderful place, and we appreciate you bringing out your posse today to spend some money here. And first question we have for you is, what are you doing? Are you all right?
I have to get my questions out.
So prepared.
Please, I work a full-time job. Leave me alone.
Why did you decide to run for the Cape Coral City Council? What brought you to politics here? And remember, Joe, it's only 1 hour, so we have a lot of questions. You're going to have to keep them short and sweet.
Don't pick on me already.
Yes, we do.
He knows. Well, listen, first of all, thank you for having us. And I think it's a great opportunity to get to know the council people a little bit more depth than what you see in the days. But basically, I'm down here 20 years. I was pretty active in politics, but never thought I'd ever run for office. I both at the national and the state level. with some of the large corporations I was with. I did a lot of lobbying, that type of thing. And I had my own businesses later on and got into the Port Authority of New York and Philadelphia. So just naturally, I had to move into, lobbying and making relationships and, work with Pataki up there, got Pataki and did a lot of.
All right, you're going way in the way back machine there.
got
So
it.
you decided
But-
to.
so
Nobody knows who
I'm down
Pataki
here
is.
20 years.
Nobody in this
Sandoval.
room knows who
That's not
Pataki
true.
is
New York
anymore.
is here.
Well, I was at Sandoval and Bonita Bay developed it and they went bankrupt.
Okay.
And we were firewalled off corporate wise, but they started pulling money out. So I went to bat for the residents there and kind of re-engineered the balance sheet and kind of fought them off. And Ted Morrison came in and I got into transition group and I was president there. And a council person at the time, Marilyn Stout, said that she was going to be stopping running and her year was up. And would I consider? I said, hell no. But then she kept on talking to me and finally I said yes, but then they changed to even years.
Okay.
And so that got delayed a year. And lo and behold, the next year I met Joe Coviella, and
Yeah.
Joe kept on pressing. So I did run back in 20, and I lost. The day I came out, COVID hit, and Tom Hayden beat the hell out of us.
Yeah.
So he went in. I got reportioned over. And,
Are you and Tom friends today?
pardon me?
Are
Oh
you-
yeah, very, very good friends.
Good.
Yeah, very good friends. Tom did real well as a councilman. I think he did the city good. He's a good man. Basically, I decided to do it again in 24. I got reapportioned over to 5, and that's history.
What do you mean you got? So they cut the way they split up?
redistrict.
Oh, I see.
Every 6 years you're required to do it,
Oh.
but they did it then, and they changed the districts in I think 21, and I got moved from District 3 into District 5. They took Sandoval and moved it over to 5.
Gotcha.
So-
All right.
But why come out of I mean, you're retired. You're living your best life. Like,
Well, sometimes I question, no, but seriously, I since living here, I love this city. I really think it's a great city, and I think that we're only going to make it greater. And I think the opportunities there, and I have some skill sets that I thought would be helpful. And again, it's not about me. It's about what the city's going to become and how we can contribute to it. And I have always taken that approach. I always look for how do we make things better and do it in a collective way and in a collaborative way, not necessarily trying to, run a home run myself, but just work with other people, empower those people to do well. And that's something I learned way back in my career. It's really, if you find good people, you empower them and give them the opportunity to improve. That's where your legacy is developed.
Joe, I went back through your Facebook page. I think it was your campaign page. You look like you ran heavy on the stipend thing.
Yeah, I did. I first of all, let me be the first to say that I think the council people deserve every penny that they get, and we're getting at the time with the stipend included.
I see.
I had a little problem with the way it was done, and I don't want to second guess anyone, but I just think that if it had been communicated a little bit differently, I think it would have went down a little bit more easily. And I think that's the issue I had with it. Not in the amount of money, and nothing negative other than it was on a consent agenda and there was a lot of discussion.
Right. So
beforehand.
you're.
can I ask?
Yeah.
you a
Wait
question?
1 second, dear. So I'll forget. So now that you've been in there and you see how much work it is.
That was my question.
Oh, go ahead. You want to finish my question and make
Yeah.
it pretend like it was your question? Go right
No,
ahead.
I mean, I gotta wedge myself in here. So do you think, what you were just talking about, that it's a full-time job and
Well-
should be paid that way?
Listen, different strokes for different folks. Different people have the capability to pick up on things easier and takes them less time to do it. I'll tell you what, it's a full-time commitment.
Yeah.
If you're not committed to that job 100%, you might as well not be in there because you're not worth your weight in salt. And I approach things, I'm prepared for everything. I never stop, and most other council people that I know operate that way. I think it certainly merits consideration for full-time with full-time responsibilities. So, and I'll tell you, I spend no less than 60 hours a week, and I could do it differently, but I don't choose to do that because
And you have
I
the
want to
time.
make sure I'm prepared and I want to make sure I do my
But
research.
don't you, doesn't that kind of eliminate, if you think maybe even if it only takes 50 hours a week, doesn't it kind of eliminate at the salary younger people that aren't retired from running for office?
And believe me, I don't think many people who are on council did it for salary. They did it because they love the city and they feel like there's something within them that wants to contribute. But I think it would be much better if the salary were higher. We could attract some younger talent that could maybe do that instead of the other job they're doing right now. So,
So what is the dollar
Well, I
amount?
just want to say, because some of the council members have
Yeah.
jobs. They're not all retired. So they're
yeah,
doing,
sure.
they're pulling double duty
Sure.
plus families and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah. And, we're right now we have the charter review.
Right.
And one of the things they're going to evaluate is how they're looking at salary, and they're going to take a look at some other stuff. And when that comes back, it will be council's choice as to what of those things by majority will decide what things are going to go forward.
So the Charter Review Commission meets next week, I believe. It's their first meeting.
I think they're getting ready to pretty much wrap it up and turn it over to us. So their findings are going to come out very shortly.
So Joe, what in your mind, what is the perfect salary for the council as of today? Take
if
a
I
guess.
had to guess,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say they were probably about right last time.
What was it?
It's 75, 80,000 and maybe mayor for 100.
Yeah.
Something
Gotcha.
like that.
Do you think the way it's set up with a strong city manager and a weak mayor, and I don't mean that in any way other than that's the way the government, a lot of the local governments are set up that way. Is that the right way it should be for the Cape, or should the charter?
My feelings on that is that, I like continuity. And I think you have a better capability of having continuity with a city manager that is full-time and in control. I'm not, if you're talking strong mayor type government, you are forced because of term limits every 8 years to turn that over at least, and probably less frequently than that. And so I think that we're positioned correctly right now. And again, I'm just talking in terms of the position. The incumbent that's in right there right now, I think he's doing one hell of a job. Matter of fact, he has some capabilities that are going to be difficult to replace because he has a knowledge of the city and he also has a vision for the future that is very helpful.
When you say the incumbent, who are we talking about here?
We're talking about that Mr. Mike.
Okay,
guy.
the city manager.
City
When you said
manager.
incumbent, you threw me for a loop there. That's all.
No.
So when you were growing up, what was your favorite TV show?
No, that's a tough one.
Was it in black and white or color?
It was in color. It was in color.
It's in color now.
But we said rabbit ears, So. Listen,
Come on, you knew this
I was
question
in
was
Coleridge.
coming.
We had the first cable TV and as a test in Pennsylvania. But seriously, I used to kind of like a lot of the variety shows like Sonny and Cher and that kind of stuff.
Sonny and Cher.
Yeah, those kind of things.
Yeah. Awesome. Variety shows. What else? Merv Griffin was going on back
Oh,
then.
come on.
Lawrence Welk.
I
Lawrence
remember
Welk?
Merv
No,
Griffin.
yeah, he was.
I remember
Merv was
Lawrence
on.
Welk. I mean,
Yeah.
the bubbles and everything.
That's when those kinds of shows were funny. When they actually told jokes back
They're
then.
actually jokes.
Yeah,
You could laugh
yeah.
at the jokes and you didn't have to chase your kids out. to listen
Right,
to them,
right. Or listen to politics. Listen to some comedian preach to you about politics. So, the next question is the rollback rate was passed last week, and I kind of got the feeling from watching that it caught you off guard. Did that catch you off guard when you saw
Oh, yeah,
that?
it caught me off guard. I didn't even know that we were at the rollback rate until we were rereading the proposition going forward. Matter of fact, Keith Long held up a paper, and we all had the paper in front of us. What the terms should be on it. I thought he read the terms. I thought it was going to be the 5.2188, and then I heard rollback. And then my mind started rolling. I'm saying, no, wait a minute.
And then your mind rolled back.
Yeah, it did. And my mind rolled back. And, in a budget of 1,437
billion.
we can, 1,500,000,000 or 437 million. we could find 2 million
Yeah.
and not hurt the city. What you do, I'm sure what's going to happen. I'll tell you right now, we'll find something that we can roll forward to the next year, $2 million worth.
Right.
That's probably what's going to happen.
So you were okay with it, even though.
Oh
you
yeah,
were,
I was okay with it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you got to put a stick in the mud somewhere. And being in operations most of my life, I know that you have to have a little lagniappe, a little bit extra in there.
Yeah.
To make sure you got covered, because what you're looking for is results. You're not going to go in there as a bean counter and make sure every penny is exact right to what you had forecast in the budget. And stuff happens during the year, so you have to have
Well,
a
yeah.
little capability to react.
Yeah, you need to have emergency funds for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the other thing that I got confused on, and I'm not real good with math. So
No.
where I got confused was you roll back the rate, right? So the taxes, the taxes, the millage taxes don't go up on the residents. Other things went up on them, but the millage didn't go up. But the budget went from 1.058 to 1.4 billion. Like, I couldn't figure out where.
the
Maybe I
rest of
wasn't
that
paying
coming
close enough
from.
attention during the whole hearing stuff, but where did that extra money come from so that your budget actually went up?
Not getting into the real weeds on it, but
Okay.
just from a 30,000 foot level, if you look at what was brought forth, the original proposal was, I think it was 1,515,000,000. We went back and the city manager cut it way back. They came back and they brought in 1,437,000,000, and then we hit the rollback, so it became
Yeah.
1,435,000,000.
Okay.
If you look at that
Billion.
number,
Totally lost already, but I'm trying to figure out where the extra money came
approximately
from.
457 million of
Yeah.
that is in infrastructure, in enterprise infrastructure, most of it. You have about 320 in the North 3 UEP.
Okay.
You have the RO plant in the North expansion. That's about,
So the
40
revenue is coming from different revenue streams.
if it's enterprise fund, most of it comes from resident assessments.
Gotcha.
And only the capital portion that is put either on a long-term bonding, which would be 20 years, will come back. And it's only that portion that
Yikes.
is the interest rate and principal payment during that year.
Okay.
So of that 457 million, all but about 25 million of that is going to be assessments
Yeah.
carry forward.
So
that-
residents
that's funded
are-
through, it's
Yeah,
residents
so
pay.
Residents are paying some other way.
And, you know,
Right, one way or the other. Yeah, yeah.
that was a tough nut to swallow, because if you look at what we did with UEP by passing it during those the years of COVID, all we did was exacerbate the cost into the future. And now we went from, I think, you know, we were talking in 23 being at probably 23,000. It's now up to like 33,000 or 33,000 a piece to connect.
How long have you been married now?
53 years.
53 years. Wow.
Yeah. Now, listen,
To
I've
the
gotta
same person?
yeah.
Wow.
So speaking of that,
In
so,
my family,
Joe,
it's a cumulative
Joe,
thing.
before you tell that story, so I'm trying to figure out, whether she gets home at 3:00 so that she can let the dogs out. We've got a bulldog that needs really close attention at this point in her life, her life. And so I put on the thing where you try and find her, and she's on 27th Street in Lehigh. I'm like, wait, where are you? 27th Street. Who's living at 27th Street? I don't know. There's some dude's house that you're at on 27th Street. You're supposed to be at a
No.
school somewhere.
It
And I'm
was
like,
your other girl. It was your girlfriend. You must
no,
have
it
been
was your-
tracking
what is on
somebody else.
27th Street
No, dear, I
in
just
Lehigh?
think that GPS is not that accurate. Thankfully,
It was
law
so funny.
enforcement agencies don't use iPhone tracking. Maybe they do, but it's not accurate. I can tell you where I was sitting.
As soon as it popped up on my phone and I texted her, where's 27th Street? Then all of a sudden that little round dot went winging right to, then it was right on top of the school. Like, wait, something's funky going on there. So 53 years. Joe.
Yeah, and the really,
Did you ever track your wife on her phone?
hell no.
What about the rabbit? You put the rabbit
Listen,
ears on her from the
She
TV?
had tracks on me all the time. But basically, the key to that one is I spent probably, of the 40 years I spent in the corporate, probably of those 25 years, I was home maybe a week out of 3 months for a
Wow.
lot of that time. So
Yeah.
I did a lot of international travel.
Kids?
4 kids, 4 daughters. My wife raised them. She did a great job.
4 daughters.
girls.
4 girls. Yeah.
Oof.
Grandkids?
5.
5 grandkids.
Yeah.
You have
Girls
any
are tough.
advice for my wife? Because I know I can handle it fine when the boy is
Man,
born. But
you have to talk to my wife.
I see.
I stayed away from that stuff.
you stay away from the grandkids.
That's
Oh,
right.
Okay.
The raising
I
stuff.
stay away from your grandkids.
So,
Do you want me to go
Yeah,
with
go
this
right
one?
ahead.
So accessory dwelling units, that's becoming a thing that's going to be coming up. So what is your feeling on that? What? Oh,
Well,
oh,
Yeah, accessory dwelling units. Well, my initial feeling is we're talking about them contributing affordable housing. I don't know how affordable they're going to be. Right now, I have a hard time being supportive of that, so I learned more about it and if it really is going to be an affordable mechanism. If you look at there's this a state bill running forward now that says that you're going to be able to keep your homestead for the main house and then for the excessive or the other dwelling, it's going to be taxed and billed with a business requirement
Oh, no
tax
kidding.
and all that. So I don't know how affordable it's going to really be. So I don't know if it's a solution.
So somebody,
There are very few properties in the north that are going to be at 40,000 square feet too. So I'm not real heavy on it right now. I think there may be better ways to get the attainable housing.
what's your general sense from your colleagues there about this? Has come up before, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and I don't think that the council moved it forward last time. Of course they didn't. It just got passed on. So
the process now is the housing committee yesterday, I believe, or this week, moved it back to you.
They'll recommend it to us, and then I think we'll probably talk in a Cal about it, and we'll get some opinions from other council people. And that's one thing I've learned on council. I learn all the time from what other peoples are talking about. Just different perspectives are real helpful.
So Grace is saying she doesn't agree with ADUs. Thank you. Grace says she's sorry she couldn't be here tonight, by the way, Joe. Do you know Grace?
No, I don't know Grace.
Okay. Well,
Grace
Grace Gilberti. So somebody was making the point that they would like to be able to build an extension or additional a unit on their property so they can move their mom in, or they can, to continue the family kind of living together thing. But you don't see it that way?
No, I mean, it'd be a very special circumstance that would work, I think. And you have to have the large property to do it, and it may be a benefit to that. I mean, I have a heartfelt like for the intent, but the practicality of pulling it off, I think, is going to make it difficult. And if we're doing it in a general way to make housing attainable and affordable, I don't know how universal it's going to be. I think that there may be other ways of doing it. So, and I do know Grace. When you said last name, I do know her. I just didn't recognize who you're talking about.
Gotcha.
Well, and right now you guys, can make that decision. But if that House Bill 48 gets going through, that's going to make
we won't have much choice. And I never felt or appreciated.
That must be the house in Lehigh calling
Hello,
you
I'm
now.
doing a show here. Can you call me after the show?
That's probably my wife tracking me.
Good one.
But
Yeah, so
I never appreciated the home rule issues as much as I have since being on council.
When was the last time you talked to a state representative?
Last week, Friday.
Do you ever walk up to them and say, dude, why are you trying to steal away all of our home rule stuff? Why are you trying to take everything
I've had
away
those
from us?
conversations.
What do they say? Like, you guys are too dumb to make decisions yourself or something? I mean, even with the county thing, they're interfering.
Most of the time, I think that one of the issues is that a lot of those guys have not come up through municipal government. So they don't understand that revenue streams as we have them now, it's been balanced and it's able to survive. And it may not be the best in the world, but it works. And if you start overturning too many things in that revenue stream, I don't know how we're going to run a city.
Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, if you're looking as an alternative, like to the ad valorem tax, to put in some other kind of user tax, sales tax, I mean, it's still going to be residents paying it because the biggest nut on that is going to be cars, automobiles.
Who do you want to see as the next governor?
I'm a Byron Donalds fan.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite council person that you're working with right now? If you were just between us,
I
kids?
love them all.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a least favorite that you
You
want to
try
see?
that every week.
I know. I was trying to figure out who Jennifer was talking about last week because she didn't say the person's name. But after what we were reading last night, I think we found out who that person's name was.
I think a lot of people could decipher that one.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. And there are times, and you don't win all the votes, no doubt. And I've learned that, you don't get to deal with the circumstances as you'd like them to be.
Right.
You get to deal with the circumstances as they are. And you just go on. I mean, you can just suck it up and move forward and make the most and make sure that you're doing things in the right and the best interest of the city and its residents.
So go ahead.
I'm going to
Go right ahead.
Since he brought it
You've
up.
got the
So
floor.
I know. Well,
All
we
you
were
know.
talking a little bit before, and then Ed and I were talking. There's been, as usual, there's been some criticism about other members of council, that the stuff that you run on maybe not the stuff that they see when you get on council. So what do you have to say in terms of the stuff that you ran on as far as transparency, better communication, and inclusive resident involvement?
Let me talk about two specific things.
Somebody
One
criticizing you? Is somebody
was-
criticizing you?
Oh yeah, they're usually you're not on council. If you're not getting criticized, you're not on council, right?
Right.
I tend to pick up a lot recently, and I find that if you don't do what people think that they want you to do, you're wrong. Two things that I'm going to talk about. One is the J.C. Park concessionaire's contract. That was done before we got in there. And I thought that maybe there could be better communications the way we developed that program. And
Can you back up a little bit? Because I don't like to assume that people know what you're
Okay,
talking
yeah,
about.
go
Like
ahead.
the J.C. Park contract with the concession was
Well,
what?
the concessionaire agreement was that portion that was going to have food trucks in there
Okay.
and dispense the food and liquor items. And basically, part of that was that, the issue was you had a lot of environmental people worried about the trees in there and that kind of thing. Well, by the time we got in there, the trees were gone. I think that if we would have had town hall meetings the way we're holding them now, we could have dispelled a lot of the issues. Not all of them, because you always have people that are, you're a divided city. And
Right.
you're going to have some people that have some opinion than the other. But I think that it could be ameliorated a little bit. And I'm not being critical of last council. What I think happened was, though, once that contract was signed, the integrity of the city was on the line. And I'm quoted by saying that, the four corners of the contract. What I meant by that is we have to uphold that contract, or else we're going to chase developers away. And it's going to be bad for the reputation of
So
the
what
city.
happened?
Well, the contract got blown up because the principals, the 3P principals, really weren't able, they didn't have the capacity to come forward
Concession.
and deliver. So
Is that the concession
they
person?
breached the contract.
So what happens now? Do you get a different concession?
Well, right now we're still moving forward to build it as if we had a concessionaire, and we'll decide that when
I
the
got you.
time comes. We likely probably down the road we'll have a concessionaire in there.
So do you think that there's enough funds in the city's budget to complete the park?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen,
You paused a little bit there.
the city is
Didn't.
You didn't?
no, it's
Okay.
it's 18 million.
All right.
It's fine. It's all those funds are there. It's already there. So we're in good
Somebody
shape.
sent, some people sent in some questions about the park.
No, I'll tell you the one I'm worried about. I'm worried about the yacht club.
Well, don't go off. Oh, no, I got to finish my questions here about the park.
Okay, go ahead.
Why are there so many new lights at the park, considering most city parks close at sunset?
Listen, it's just good safety, and
Okay.
I think it's really that park is going to be. I think once it's finished, I think residents are going to really like it. I think that it's going to be a wonderful view off of that boardwalk. So I hope that we can get past some of the disgruntled people, and I hope that they find it's a good thing in the long run. So.
Okay. So Jennifer Nelson is watching, and she says that she's your favorite, Joe.
Well, thank you, Jen.
Yeah, speaking of Jen, if anybody wants to help us out with the Cape Coral Youth Council, Janet here with the bucket. We're selling raffle tickets for $10, and the prize will be in 3 weeks from today. Is two tickets to Key West on the Key West Express. So $10 today, then they go up to $20. So
what I was going to say about the yacht club.
Yep.
That's going to be a big nut, and we're looking at doing the seawall and then the marina. And if you look at that, that's going to be about 35 million roughly. And of that, we have some funding on it, but a project of that size, you have to make sure that you're able to cash flow that going forward without burning the residents with another taxing issue. So it's very important, I think, that we look to be able to consolidate that into one grouping so that we get revenue streams in to cover that burden of the debt that we're going to incur on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know
if you do it in stages, the last things that you're going to do are the revenue generating portions, the parking lot, the restaurants, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it can be strung over a long period of time, maybe a 2-year bill. So you got to be very careful. So I'm almost thinking that we're better off looking at a P3 partner to do that and do it in a way that they can bring forth, the funding, a resource, and keep us covered through that period.
I know a lot of people like to complain that it's taken so long for like the yacht club to get to a certain point. If that's the way you feel, I would ask you all to take a ride down to Fort Myers Beach and park your car in Lynn Hall Park and look at the pier right in Times Square there. The biggest holdup is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the permits that the county needs to get down. Of course, at the beginning, it was FEMA because you're waiting for FEMA to say, you can knock this down or you can do that with that. And the municipality's waiting for money and you can't screw things up because you need that money. And then the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers just seems like they are an impossible monstrosity to get help from so things can get done quicker. And then I was walking around the boathouse a couple weeks ago and I was like, holy shit, sorry, that looks just like Fort Myers Beach. The pier's gone. And so, I mean, it's not, I don't know. I'm not saying it's not the city down here because I have no clue what's going on with permitting and stuff, but I know for sure the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is a nightmare to try and get things done with.
Yeah, I think for the marine portion of the yacht club down there, it took almost 2 years to get that through. And then you have to go through Department of Environmental with the state. So
yeah,
it's a lot of agencies to go through and get sign off and permits and all.
I appreciate some of that from doing chemical and petrochemical plants, and we had it would take us 4 or 5 years sometimes to get permitting through.
So before we get to Grace's question, if anyone in the audience has questions, feel free to come up. I wanted to backtrack just for 1 second because you said you were getting some criticism. One of the things I've learned on here in Cape Coral is that it appears that when some people help others get elected, like they're part of their campaign or something, and then somebody gets elected, they have a rock solid expectation that something is due to them in return. And that's I've never seen that before. Like you help to get people elected because they kind of think the way you do and you have trust in them and they're your kind of people and you want votes to go a certain way. But down here, it's like over here, it's like you owe me. You owe people, Joe.
And part of that is, I think when you're running, you have a different perspective on how to get things through the system and what's important in the long term for the residents and for the city and the long term value of the city. So I think that you start learning a little bit more about the long term stuff that's needed and the steps required to get there. And I think that government's slow. There's no doubt that government's slow, deliberately slow. And the Sunshine Law makes it even slower. And I'll be pretty honest with you, the Sunshine Law is great for transparency, but it really slows things down. In the corporate world, you have your deal cooked before you get on the thing. Now, I don't want to say that that's what we need in government, but it really does slow things down because we're making sausage up in the dais all the time. And there's some of that thing that could be reasonably be done ahead of time in education wise, that would be helpful, I think.
Yeah,
And
I think the
when-
Sunshine Law is the greatest law ever created in the state of
Absolutely,
Florida for people like us, because it, you get the impression that things are being done right up on the
No,
dais
no,
and not in the
that-
back room. But
Yeah,
I'm not saying it is anywhere,
No.
but.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's necessary,
But it
but
slows
it
things down.
slows things down.
And we
There's no
had
doubt about
Jonathan,
it.
let me finish here. We had, I love you. We had Jonathan Martin on the show on the beach a couple of Sundays ago. And I said, hey, Jonathan, you guys require all these municipalities to follow the Sunshine Law. And they, and then there you guys are. You could have 3 or 4 of you state representatives just sitting in a bar talking about every single issue that's coming up. I mean, how fair is that? It's ridiculous that they don't have to follow the Sunshine Law. And then he explained that they've got so many bills and they've got so many
Is that
bills
like
and
the slow clap, or is that like a real clap?
it's like, do as I say, not as I do, but I'm glad there's a Sunshine Law down locally.
Well, I think the other thing too is that when you're running yourself, you have the things that you want to run on, the things you want to do, but you get in a group, you're now with all the other people, and there has to be some give and take or nothing's going to get done.
Yeah, and I said this all the time. I've sat on boards since I've been 35 years old, so I know the ethos of operating on a board. And really, I'm not up there going to create a food fight. It's stupid. It doesn't get you anywhere, and it might entertain some distorted characters in the audience, but that's about all it's worth. And I don't intimidate easily or well. So I don't care. I mean, that's what happens.
So you guys, it took you just as long to get through the mobility fees that it is for our daughter to have a baby. It seems like 5 different votes.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't wind up where you wanted it to.
Well, no, but that's part of it. Now, like I said, you don't deal with how you'd like things to be. You deal with what they are, and we'll get through that. I think that, I mean, the only thing that I like to judge things on are actual results. And I there's no doubt that the building industry is our cash cow in the city. It has been for many years and will continue to be. And even at the rate of 2,500 homes per year, we're doing a hell of a lot of building here. And that trade industry, for every dollar spent, we're getting $7 back in the economy. So it is by far our greatest asset in the city, the contribution to performance.
So you have a $2 billion wish list of projects. In your opinion, how much of that is real?
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. That $2 billion list was done by some pretty sophisticated people who understand what the future kind of vision is going to be from a mobility standpoint. It's 20 years.
Yeah.
What I did, I took a look at 4 years running up at to 12.5%, and then another 4 years, assuming that we're peaked at that point. And there's no doubt by capping, what I was trying to do was create the higher level and discount around it so that future councils would have the capacity to be able to do a bigger increment of dollars. Well, that's not what happened. So rationalizing how we can make this work, if I went ahead and I looked and I said, look, I looked at the real actual projects, both from a safety standpoint and a traffic capacity standpoint. And we have easy for the next 4 years, over 200 million on the books.
Okay.
And I just said, let's look for 8 years, let it be 400 million.
All right.
We had 110,000 households going in. We're going to build them at 2,500. On average, that gives us 120,000 households for those 8 years. So if you look at what's generated for the residential at a fee of 3,500, and then we're going to be up to 7,500. And the
Joe,
far end of the
I
eight, so
forgot
you're
my
at
I forgot my
5,500.
question already, Joe.
All right,
He's
hold on.
not good with math.
Joe,
He's
my-
not good with math.
Stick with me. I'm very slow. So of the 2 billion, in your opinion, how much is that real?
Well, I can't look 20 years in the future.
Well, give it
But
take
right now,
darn.
I can see us in the next 8 years needing $400 million.
Oh, okay.
All right, of
So-
that 400 million, that's 50 a year. I can see us producing from the residents at the new rates, if we go through those 8 years, 13.5 million a year.
All
And
right.
from commercial, maybe 3 or 4. So we're like at $17 million a year. That's a deficit of 33 million
All right,
annually.
33 million.
So
So is
that's
that,
like on, if you look at 120,000 houses, that's $275 a home for those residents that are currently here.
Hey,
So new is paying less for new, and residents are going to be paying more
Okay.
for it by that $275 a month.
do you think that there's going to be a need for a millage increase over
Well,
the next few years to
We
pay
got
for
to
that?
we got to cover that 275 or not do
What
the
do you think it'll be?
projects. It's going to be less than a mil, but close
Yeah.
to a mil.
Well, make sure that Keith doesn't pull the roll back on you again, if that's what you're.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you about the citizens' input, because that seems to be, I don't know why it seems to be something that I love talking about. I hope that you love talking about it. I still feel that the city of Cape Coral offers more citizens' input than most municipalities that I've seen. May not be in the right spot, may need to be moved around, whatever. I mean, every council meeting that I've gone to now, I've been able to listen to the citizens' input and still be home in time to, go to bed at 7 o'clock like I do every night. And so the other thing is that you not only take citizens' input, but then this is where I'm going to be clipped, because this is where I've been clipped before. And then you go person by person by person and answer the people that
Well,
have
they
spoken public
respond.
comment.
They respond.
And you add another 45 minutes onto your meeting. Can you please eliminate that?
Please don't
Okay.
say that.
No, but here's
Uh,
what like the school board, like Sam Fisher came up to me last week when he was here, and he said, you know what we do? We just assign a staff member. Staff member says, okay. Sam says that staff member has an issue with this. But here's what happens. Like, you probably do that. There was a lady that came up to citizens input, and she had a genuine concern about, I think she was being fined for something. It was a code violation. And I think Mike's took care of it. I think, but then we got to listen to people bitch about citizens input during citizens input, and then you all respond to it. It's like, what kind of use of time is that for you guys?
Here's the thing.
there goes the page.
There's a lot of ways to communicate with council.
Yeah.
And that 3 minutes you have up there is very difficult. And I've been there. I tried to do it myself. It's very different. And for me to do something in 3 minutes, there's an issue with it. But basically, it's real tough to make your point in 3 minutes. And you feel kind of short-sighted if you don't get an answer about it. So I understand that mentality. But there are a lot of ways to communicate, better ways. I mean, I'll see anybody. And all the other council people I know are open to meeting with people.
Yeah.
I do at least 15 phone calls a day. And that's on average. And but that many emails too, probably a day.
Yeah, so
that I
you have
answer.
phone calls, you have emails,
Right.
you have the time
Right.
at that, you have the town
Sure.
hall
Sure.
opportunities. I mean,
And basically responding within council. Sometimes it's appropriate. If someone else addresses something, I try not to. I try and look for the things that fall out. And I try not usually to go first, because by the time it gets to me,
it might be answered.
yeah, and I sometimes I don't have a lot of empathy out there.
Right.
Other people have higher levels of empathy than I do. So I'm be personal, honestly.
But Joe,
you know?
if there was a vote taken to eliminate that part of the citizens input, would you vote yes or no? Get rid of it.
No, probably not. Listen. I think we're so used to it here in the city that would be an issue. I like the fact that the cards are being used and you have topics on them.
Yep.
So that's what I was concerned about. That if there's someone out there who really didn't understand how to communicate, but they wanted to make a point about a topic, that they had that opportunity before we could.
But you guys,
And you can reach back out to them because
Sure.
you have the card.
not a single one of the 8 members. I'm still surprised that it's 8 and not 7 or 9, but I understand now why. But not a single one of the 8 members is unapproachable on any of the topics. At least I haven't seen it that way. It just sometimes the citizens input seems like it's a time to be shine on Cape TV and not really bring up any substantive issue.
And really, it's a business meeting. It really is. And I mean, in the corporate world, I know how it would have been handled.
Oh
okay?
yeah.
We get it done, and that's it. You walk away.
Do you? enough about that.
Yeah. Can I
But-
ask him this one now?
You can ask him anything you want, dear.
I just didn't know if I didn't want that to be at the end. What is your, on a positive note?
The whole
what is-
meeting, the whole interview's been positive. Why are you
No,
saying that?
you got to bring that up, and that's just going to
I
create a
love
bunch
everybody's opinion on citizens input. I do.
Oh no, you don't. There's plenty of opinions you have disagreed with on there. So, what is your vision for the city going forward for the Cape?
Well, my first concern was making sure that we had some things in infrastructure really tied up. And right away, I think we jumped on the water issue. And I have pretty good background in geothermal
Yes, you do.
and everything and drilling and all and aquifers. And we're in good shape there. I mean, it's just a matter of keeping up and having the discipline to push that forward. And that's part of the North 3 and the thing that I like about it is we're not kicking the can down the road anymore. We've taken it on, and it's a difficult decision because it costs a lot of people
It's
money.
a lot. Yeah.
What we have to do is look for government grants and funding at the state and federal level. Just keep on pushing on that to see what we can get to try and ameliorate that. But that's taken care of. And the traffic's another issue that's just going to be a continuing issue that we have to hammer away. The other thing is really the 92%, 90% residence tax base that we're facing. And we all ran and trying to, change that. I did back in 2020, keep Paradise affordable was my game plan then. And that is a matter of being very constructive about making sure that we have commercial and light manufacturing capabilities here so that we can capture that. And I think we're making some good gains in that area. Pine Island was a real good commercial corridor. We're looking at doing that with Burnstone by using the proper land use up there and code enforcement up there. So I think the opportunities there, we just have to keep on forcing. We're never going to get to that expectation of what normal cities are of 15 or 20% commercial, but we can improve it. And a little bit goes a long way there. So I think that you'll see most of us on council when there's an opportunity to pick up additional commercial space, and we'll make that available.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And I would love to be able to see us become a little bit more, and this goes to the macro state of affairs of the world right now.
Yeah.
I'm troubled a lot by just what our kids are seeing and thinking about and learning about, and just civility of our culture. And I think that a lot of the just the Facebook stuff and a lot of that just has downgraded what our opinions are about things. And that's the kind of thing that really troubles me long run. I think we have an opportunity in this city if we keep on doing the things that we're doing from the town hall meetings and
When you had your last town hall, how many people came?
My last town hall, we had about 35, 40.
Is that good?
Yeah, that was good. That
Okay.
was good. And I've had as little as 15 or 20.
Right. All you can do is put it
And
out
I
there.
have one coming up on October 18th at Cape Christian. So,
Gotcha.
and,
From 10 to noon.
pardon me?
10 to
From
noon. 10 to noon.
10 o'clock to
10 to
noon.
noon. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 to noon, Cape Christian.
So
October 18th.
I ask everybody these questions, so I might as well ask you.
What is that? I might
I
as
know,
well.
It didn't sound right.
Here
That
we
didn't
go.
sound right.
Watch, this is coming after you.
Hey. Well, being that
Or
he's
mayor, maybe.
not, no. What would you grade this city manager? I mean, I've seen your grades on paper, but now you have a chance to
listen, I
extrapolate.
think he's doing a phenomenal job. I really do. I probably gave him the highest grade of anyone.
Yeah.
And what I recognize is, I don't know if you remember, did you ever hear of Man in the Arena? Way back with Teddy Roosevelt, where he's talking at the Sorbonne in 1910.
Oh
It
boy.
was a citizens.
I missed that
the
one.
Oh, boy.
Citizens Republic. And he talks about the guy out there having to make things happen. He's in the arena, and all these criticism goes around him.
Yeah.
But none of them ever spent time in the arena to know what it is, to have the courage to do that. That guy sits out there, takes on what policy we give him, and he's like a COO in a corporation. He has to deliver results.
Was that
He's
in
doing it.
Was that in black and white or in color? That man in the arena?
That was That was before the quilt ban, I think.
So what
So-
you're saying is things really haven't changed since 1910, where people are
Well,
still criticizing and not
absolutely.
acting.
What about-
in all seriousness?
How would you give, what grade would you give the full council? Like A being the best and F being the worst?
Well, listen, a couple of things that I like about them
Yeah.
is that we haven't backed off anything. Hard questions come before us and we've dealt them, and we're not kicking a can down the road. And I don't agree with everything we did, but damn it, we decided, and I'm going to follow it, and I'll work like hell to make it. I'm a results-oriented guy, so I think we did great things in commercialization, in land use assemblage, and I think we've done some great things in just trying to improve the citizen response to things. And basically, I look at those results, and I think we're doing okay. I really do.
Yeah.
And different strokes for different folks. And I get burned on some things, and I win
When
on
was
some
there
things.
was there a vote that you have been involved in that you thought that didn't go your way and you thought, oh, this is going to be bad for Cape Coral. This one was a bad vote.
I really thought that the mobility thing was a little bit in that I was unsure how dramatic an impact that lowering of that top fee that you could charge. But then I started rationalizing and figuring how to achieve it in other ways and how we could do that. And if you really think about it, we don't want to kill the golden goose, right? And the golden goose is the building industry. We really got to support that industry.
Next year, there's 4 seats that are up, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on in this community that's negative about politicians. What advice could you give to people that might be thinking about running now that you're on the other side and you
Well,
experienced it?
If you don't have thick skin, don't do it, seriously. And but don't let it scare you away. We need good people running for office, and I hope that there's enough people that have the courage to be able to do that. And it's not an easy chore. I mean, it's a task. Running is tough, very difficult. And one thing that I'm disappointed in that the lack of understanding of what people's just their approach to things and the way that they deal with their background. People don't have a high knowledge of that. And especially when you get into something like if you have a national race going on or a heavy governor race, that's the focus, and it's not on the local. So a lot of local votes are turned over during the poll time. And people, I recognize that they're not knowledgeable about the candidates.
Yeah.
And you can go in with a piece of paper with names on it, and people accept that,
Right.
And be at the polls, get your face in front of people, and it's very helpful. And that's retail politics, but that's one thing I wish we could do a better job of, educating the public as to what the issues are. And it's difficult to do, but I would encourage everyone to get your platforms out there and just communicate, and don't be unapproachable. You have to really communicate a lot to make it happen.
Do you have any suggestions for people as far as, educating people more, different ways that they can go out and get people interested in local politics, what the issues are, and sort of so people can make a more educated decision when they get into that box or when they arrive at the polling station and someone's, saying something that may not be completely accurate, and then they're going in and going, well, okay, I'm going to vote for that person based on that 2-minute interaction.
The process that's out there right now, we use a lot of the clubs to have debates and communication. And that seems to be pretty effective. It draws large crowds. Right now, you have the Republican Club of Cape Coral, and just currently, I mean, it's usually low attendance. They had over 150 people there the other night.
Yeah.
So it's those are the avenues, and I think that if they could be done in a manner that gives you a little bit more talk time, I think it would be better, because when you do those, you only get 1 or 2 minutes for everything.
Right.
We got 6 minutes left, and we have a question from the audience. So we love the audience participation, Joe. So be on your toes, Joe.
All right,
We have
First, I want to thank both of you for bringing us to Cape Coral and all the support and education you're giving us. Joe, I have a question for you. last week I was here with Nicole from All Abilities Play. And unfortunately, one of the city council women that's not here today was busy talking to our city manager the whole time. So I don't know if you got to hear about it. I know you know some about it, but I want to know if you're behind us in this park for North Cape and District 7 in Rachel's district, because I don't think you got to hear a lot. There was a lot of chatter going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the ADA approach, I think, is wonderful. I love what you're doing with it, Eileen. I think that it's something that's needed. We certainly have tried to accommodate that in JC Park area. There's some additions to that. So I think it's something we really have to look at hard and find ways of integrating that more fully into everything. So I'm very supportive of it. So thank you.
By the way, Eileen, thanks for mentioning that. It kind of triggered a reminder. The goal of the show is to have people like Joe on, people like the mayor on, other guests that we're going to have on, just to talk to them about the issues and ask them the questions about the issues that are going on at the council meetings and other things that are coming up. And that's it. I mean, that you can like the answer or not like the answer, and we're going to ask the questions in a reasonable way.
Well, and we also have people on, like last week, All Abilities Play, and might have a business person on. I mean, we include some variety.
Right. You like the frou-frou stuff, and I like the politics, and that's how come it works
Don't
well.
try and demoralize me.
I'm not
Believe me, there's enough people that are doing it on the Facebook page, and I'm never laughing again.
Yes.
Now that's going to be a quiet joke between me and the person who made that comment, but I'm never cackling again.
I do just one last thought on that. I mean, some people just have way too much time on their hands to do stuff like that. So any final thoughts, Joe, that you want to share with your millions
parting
and millions
shots
of
you want to
friends?
give?
Yeah, I guess that if I could just kind of sum it up, I would like to think that everyone on council or anyone running from council really is looking at the long-term interest of the city and the residents. And, just putting all parochial politics aside and all ego aside, that's what's really important. And the way I approach it is I try to stay away from Facebook and promote myself on Facebook. It's not about me. It's about what we can do to contribute to making this city the best it can be. And I think that, supporting the city staff and giving them good policy that they can execute the things that's important, that's what turns me on. That's where our legacy is. I had a mentor one time who told me that any good manager can run a budget year to year profitably, but it's the legacy guy who can look 20 years into the future and step it back and take it forward and make that happen. And that's the truth. And I think that we're blessed in that we have a city manager that can do that. I think that we're blessed that we have committed council people looking in that direction. So I'm happy for where we're at.
Big hand for Joe Kilraine, everybody.
This is
Joe, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it very much. And before we bust out, okay, I guess you're busting out already.
Busting out.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody of our guests. I saw Bill came in. Bill Stanky, everybody, is here. He's going to be our guest on November the 14th. And we are going to have a bunch of different candidates that are running for office throughout the next. We have guests lined up through the end of November. So please make your reservations at Hooked Island Grill when you can. Call ahead so that you get a good table. And our guest next week will be, Kyle is going to be on from Take Out the Trash. So we're going to put this thing to bed once and for all. And after we have them on, we are no longer going to be in any kind of discussion or a confrontation in any way. That's not what the show is about. We don't want to be anything like that. We don't want to have anything to do with anything like that. This is the kind of thing that we're going to keep doing. But sometimes you just have to put the lies and the bullshit to rest, and that's what we plan to do next week. But that's only part of the show. We're going to have people from the Oktoberfest on after the show. So make your reservations now if you want to come. But we're also now live on Facebook and YouTube at 5 o'clock. Lastly, thank you to Sean Carter. Sean Carter Lending is our sponsor of the show at Movement Mortgage. Yeah. He's an impact. Is Sean here? Oh, Sean, what the hell? Come on. Get over here. Why are you making me read the ad? Get over here. I send Sean an email and I say, Sean, listen, if you ever come to the show, you're going to come up and talk about your business instead of me doing it. Snuck in there. I didn't even see you sneak in there. Tell everybody about your business, bro.
Can't stay away. The food's so good here.
Yeah.
Yep. So three things that really set me apart is our processing time. We have a 671 processing program where we basically will do our underwriting in six hours, and then we can process a loan in 7 days and close in 1.
The loan.
So yeah, so
Okay.
that gives us a great competitive edge. One thing I really want to stress that sets us apart, we obviously have great programs, great loans, great rates, but we give a lot back to the community.
Cool.
We have about probably hundreds of different grants that we give to different nonprofits
Nice.
all over the country, and a lot of them here locally. So we have 6. We just finished our 6th charter school
Cool.
that movement has been involved with. So, underprivileged kids in different areas of Atlanta, Charlotte. We have the ability for them to get a great education. We help buy books and backpacks and obviously the school itself. So I've been actually toured one of those schools, and I was just absolutely amazed by how awesome it was.
So how can people reach you?
Yep.
How can
And,
people find you?
What's that?
How can people find you and learn about your business, your
Yep.
website, phone number, all that?
Yep. Well, easiest way to get a hold of me is just go to my website. It's Carter Gets Loans, www.cartergetsloans.com. And my phone number is 574-320-4840.
All right. Big hand for Sean Carter, everybody. All right. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show. We appreciate it. And lastly, I did want to say, if you have a chance to share the Facebook page and tell your friends about it, that helps us grow throughout Cape Coral. And that's what our goal is we have a Friday newsletter that you can subscribe to by going to our website, which, if you didn't know, is CapeCoralTalkRadio.com. Thank you all for coming and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.